Greetings and welcome to Art Conspiracy. Hi, I'm Amy, and today we are going to do some practice of the basic figure drawing, basic standing figure in proportion. If you haven't seen the video on the basic proportions, you probably should study that first before you do this. This is basically how to practice those skills with pencil, ink, and watercolor. So let's get started. We switch. Okay. You want to create a row of figures that we're going to work on, and I want you to make them up, invent them rather than looking at any kind of reference. This is really good practice. So you're going to establish head, feet, middle is the pelvis. Head. I'm working fairly light, a little darker than I might because I want you to see what I'm doing. Knee halfway down, standing leg. So I'm starting to play with my poses, just very, very loose. Make sure I have my marks hit, my pelvis, my knees, my shoulders, my hip. Okay, here's another one. Now I'm using the proportions of this one to go over. I can say, okay, there's that pelvis, but check, make sure it's in the middle, because sometimes you make a little bit of a mistake and then you exaggerate it as you go across. Maybe the shoulders are tilted in this one. Maybe there's more an exaggeration on that leg, sort of the model pose. Again, I'm just ballparking this, staying very loose using gesture drawing, which is another video for that. Reinforcing where my knees are. Okay, let's say I want somebody that's not the same height. Their feet are going to be in the same place. So I still have the feet there on the line. I'm going to make this little shorty guy, but his pelvis is in the middle. So we're going to ignore these guys. Find that center. This guy has his own pelvis center, or maybe it's a woman. Maybe she's like got her arm out. She's saying, stay away from me. Play. Maybe here she's got that goddess pose. Okay, and then on and on and on. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You can too put some people back here. You know where the feet are. If they're behind in space, their feet are going to be a little higher. A little perspective lesson there. But head, feet, go down the middle. Suggesting, not drawing all the bells and whistles. You got a person back here witnessing this. Bada boom, bada bang. Okay, then practice this. Do bunch, playing with the poses and making stuff up, and then come in with ink. And don't just go over the line you already did. Do some new lines. Add your neck, indicate there's clothing with folds. With the knee, getting really expressive and fun with this. Okay, this guy's got a hat on, got a shirt on. See that line? I just ignored it. I made a new one. So as I go through here and make it sort of artistic, I'm having fun with my forms, but I'm not losing my sense of proportion. Okay, let me go over this. Bada boom, bada bing. We're gonna switch to watercolor pretty quick. But it's fun because once you have your proportions set, then the marks that you put on top can be really playful. Here's the hair blowing in the wind. Make this guy got his arms crossed. And the further back you go, the smaller these people are, the less information you need, but you still need your good proportion. So I got my nice long legs. Okay, we're going to switch to watercolor. Give me a second. Okay, these figures are teeny tiny. You can see by the size of my hand. They're, I don't know, 4 inches high, pretty small. So I'm going to use a little bit of a brush, a little tiny brush. I'm just going to pick up some warm tones. Flesh tone is basically a warm tone of some sort. And I'm going to just start dropping some paint in here. And I establish the light and dark by not doing the full head, but just a little bit. So I'm just playing with where this might be. I'm not staying in the lines particularly. Okay, this, generally putting that paint where the limbs and the head and the flesh would be. Now look at that, totally gestural, squiggly, just having fun with that, okay? And let's say I don't want all my people the exact same tone. Make this person a little bit more orange. That wasn't too dramatic. Here we go. Get my tissue. Reddish up. Maybe I'll make her hair that way. Okay, while I got that red, the reddish orange, I'm going to put it in this little skirt here. Here we go. And then let's get a little Payne's gray, dark, shadow side. Pick up a little bit more. When it's wet, once you've established that shape, then you can drop the paint in and just let it flow around, which is really fun. Make her a dark hair, dark hat. Got some boots. I'm going to give a little shadow here. These figures are standing on the ground. So I'm really just playing with information and getting used to the watercolor, doing a little grassiness, giving them an environment. Okay, while I got the green, maybe I'll give this person a green outfit. Okay, so it's simplified figure. It's also very expressive figures. And you can do a bunch of them. And the smaller they are, again, the smaller they are, the less specific you have to be. Just got to make sure that they have nice long legs and their proportions are pretty good. So I have another exercise for you. Stand by. Okay. This one is going to be about the figure slightly more fleshed out, slightly more volumetric, and will also give us different strategies with watercolor. This demo barely fits in my camera because my photograph is pretty big, but I'll do my best. So I love working with these old black and white photographs. They're fun. You have to invent the color, and they give you funny poses and also just quirky characteristics of the human body, like this little legs, you know, going out in a V shape, and this one is the opposite. And it's kind of fun. So start though, be sure and start with your basic proportions. So this is the tallest person. So I'm gonna get her in. Again, just, it can barely fit this here, but I'm gonna very lightly, according to my basic proportions, get her in, draw the hand, then I get the arms. I think I'm already off, it's okay. Again, just playing. Now I know her legs are here, her knees are halfway down. So as soon as I draw that halfway down the knees, then I can jump up and say, oh, what's her dress doing? It's coming down to her knees. So I can skip drawing the thighs, but I just know that I have the right shape in there. And then I have the socks, and her feet are going out at a little angle, which is fun. And look at that hair shape. So I'm staying true to my basic proportions, but now I'm also adding the volume of the body and also of the clothing. So then, okay, I'm gonna go over, line this up so they're closer together. Here's this one, pelvis. I see right through, I'm using her to find that pelvis. Here's the feet, knees, head. So I have my markers, and now I get to have a little fun. Here's her shoulder going up. She's got her trophy. This is an old beauty contest, which is kind of fun. But look at the shape of this. Wow, I'm making her extra wide. And then she's got her little tights on. And so I modified, changed my head a little bit. So I wasn't totally happy with that. And then coming down, here's her knees. She's kind of fun. Her feet are going outward. She's a little bit squat. That's okay. Okay, and then we're going to move over. And I'm going to pause for a second and do some more work, and then I'll show you how I got my four ladies on. This one's a shorty, but I made sure that her pelvis was dead center. And then again, I'm going to go in with ink. And I'm not necessarily going to go over the same lines, but I will revisit certain things and be playful and add. I just added little bangs on this lady. If you want to put in just a hint of a nose, that's the most important element on the face. So again, I pick up my essential information, but I don't need everything. Hands are tricky, just suggesting. The silhouette of this is really fun. I can go in, there's texture inside, but I'm going to stay pretty much on the outside. Really have fun with these feet. Okay, I'm going to, again, pause the video and you can catch up with me in a sec. You can see here that I have revised my lines a lot. I've changed my mind. I made things thicker or thinner, or I made her a little shorter. Definitely alter things as I go along. And again, if you have your markers, then you can be playful with that information, which is great. We're about to do watercolor. Now, at this point, I might say, okay, here's my pelvis, my mark that indicates my pelvis. I don't want that. Maybe I clean up her head a little bit. Some of the marks, some of the pencil lines can totally stay. Some of them you might feel like you want to get rid of, up to you. I like to think about what are the essential lines that were structural lines that I want to get rid of, and then other ones just play in and just make it more lively and more interesting. So I'm going to jump in. Because these are beauty queens, I'm going to make them a little bit pinker than I made the last round of figures. So again, I'm picking up just a light red. I'm going to keep it pretty loose. I'm going to have my tissue handy. And I can't see this in the photo. This is important. I'm going to establish light source. I'm going to say the light is coming from the right. So I'm going to put darker color on the other side. You see that? It's just indicating that there's a light source. And I'm going to blot that out, but I'm going to get it on here. Whoop. Went right into the stockings. That's okay. I'm going to make this a little bit lighter. There we go. Now this can be dark under there because her hat's cast in a shade on her face. Really fun, just really down and dirty. Look at that little blot, that's her nose. A little tip of her nose can be a little redder. Okay, she's gonna have black stockings, so I'm gonna paint her skin. There we go. Little pinky beauty queens. Burnt sienna is good. Also yellow ochre can be a good flesh tone. Make her this one a little bit more yellow. So you just mix it up. Little pink, little yellow, little brown. Not being too careful. Now they have these trophies. So I'm actually going to make the trophies yellow. And I'm just going to make them striped so they look kind of like metal. And they'll stand out. There, good enough. Shiny trophies. Da-da-da-da. Kind of funny, these beauty queens. At this point, I'm not looking that much at the picture. I'm really just responding to what I got down here, which is fun. And now I can just completely play with colors. But I still have a light side and a dark side, which gives me a reason to vary the color. So I don't put it everywhere. I'm just putting it over there on the edge. Then I can clean my little brush and then just drag that color over. And then I have some variation, which is nice, right? So we'll do it again with a red, really vivid red to show you. Putting it dark along the edge, sort of a fuchsia color. Cleaning my brush, slightly damp. Now I just drag that over a little bit. And I'm also making her hand smaller in the process because it looked too big. Look at that, just pulling that over. If I want to add another color, let's say I want to add some yellow here, I just drop it in. It's a wet. Yeah, sort of a combination. Having fun with the color. She's dark. Let's say she's actually wearing black just for fun. Now, because her hair is dark and her clothes are dark, I'm just going to make it all one big shape. And again, I'm shaping her hand now that I have the paint, using that paint to create the form, to change the form. Drag it down. I left a little tiny bit between her legs to separate them out. Okay, now all that shape is wet. So now I can drag this paint around. I can blot some of it out. I can drop in some more, make it even darker if I want to. Okay, doing good. Got the balance. Okay, I'm going to actually add some, let's go for some like dark brown. I'm going to make her stockings, hair. And some fun. I got the paint. It's very thick right now. But I'm getting close. I'm getting close. Now these are pretty dry. Whoops. I'm going to just add a little more color to that face. Have your tissue handy. It works great. Almost like a eraser. This is a dark green. I just picked up because it was in my tray. Considering that dark side and light side still, add some darker tones to this person. Maybe their dress is casting a little shadow. Totally having fun. Okay, at this point, I'm just going to get a bigger brush, just for the heck of it. I'm going to pick up kind of a neutral color, in this case, yellow ochre, and some residue that's in my tray, just to make it a little bit more complex a color. It doesn't matter that much what this color is, but I'm just going to do a little indication of a background. It also serves to kind of unite the figures. Not going to touch, that one's wet. I don't want to get bleed. Okay, just indicate plantness. We're standing in front of the shrubs. My beauty queens. Okay, then last but not least, I might just put in like a shadow shape. Shadows can be a blue or gray generally. That'll work. The paint's pretty wet. Remember, the light's coming from here, so the shadow will be the opposite side of that. So I'm just going to unite them with a little shadow. Oh, my shadow became green. That's okay. I'm going to pick up some of that green or brown, put it in my blue. Have fun with that. I would color her too, but I want to keep it short. Make her a blonde, add more colors. You can let this dry and work on it. So you have two strategies now for your homework, for your practice. You can do the smaller version, the little stick figures, making them up. Then you can also look at photographs, which are really fun. There's a lot of options for photographs. You can find a lot of them on the internet, but they're pretty fun. And if you want to work on standing figures, I can't find this one. Oh, hey, let's check this out. This is like a royal wedding of some sort that I found. But once you get one standing figure, then you use it to find the proportion of the other figures. And when we're working in this way that's very expressive and loose and fun, you just need certain things to be correct. And then the rest can all be interpretation. So do your homework, practice, practice, practice. Some of them will be funky, some of them will be wonky, some of them will be, oh yeah, that's just right. And you'll get to the point where you can do very few marks and have a big impact. So happy painting. get practicing and report back to me. Okay. Take care. artconspiracy.net. See you soon. Bye.